Hello and good day to our lecturer and friends. Today, my team led by me would like to present to you our mini project. I am Muhammad Amirul Hisham and I will give you a brief introduction of our topic. Me and my group mate, Muhammad Afifuddin and Amirul Hakim will talk about system thinking. Air pollution is arguably among the pollutants that have the greatest impact on the environment. Due to air pollution, there is a global warming phenomenon that results in natural disasters that threaten our Earth. This air pollution has become a global focus to address and take control measures so that the level of pollution can be controlled. Developed countries such as China, which focus on manufacturing industries, directly affect our air quality in the world. The issue of air pollution is emphasized by the World Health Organization (WHO), which has taken various measures to address this problem. We decided to choose article from BBC News on climate change, greenhouse gas built up reached new height in 2020 by Matt McGrath.
System thinking is a holistic approach to analysis the way a system constituent parts interrelate and how systems work over time within the context of larger system. According to system thinking, system behavior results from the effects of reinforcing and balancing process. A reinforcing process leads to the increase of some system component. If reinforcement is unchecked by a balancing process, it eventually leads to collapse. A balancing process is one that tends to maintain equilibrium in a particular system. System thinking is recognized as vital to understand climate science and addressing climate change. Understanding how system thinking influences the public's belief and attitudes about climate change has important implications for climate change education and communication. System thinking may facilitate an ecological ethic or value system that humans should preserve and protect the natural world rather than exploit it. This, in return, may strengthen pro-climate views and understanding of climate change. Our findings contribute to system thinking theory and indicate the importance of promoting system thinking to support pro-climate science belief and attitudes. Burning fossil fuel and fuel consumption are two components that lead to the increase of greenhouse gases. In the process of burning fossil fuel, nitrous oxides are released into the atmosphere, contributing to the creation of smoke and acid rain. Nitrogen oxides are a collective name for the most prevalent nitrogen-related substance released into the atmosphere as a result of human activity. Ammonia is another nitrogen compound emitted to the air, primarily from agricultural activities, but also from fossil fuel. Most of the nitrogen oxides released is due to human activity which are from the burning of fossil fuel associated with industry. The majority of greenhouse gas emission come from the transportation industry. Fossil fuel Fossil fuel combustion accounts for the majority of transportation-related greenhouse gas emission, including cars, trucks, ships, trains, and planes. Most transportation fuel is petroleum-based, with gasoline and diesel accounting for over 90% of total consumption. For the production of fuel used in transportation that cause the increasing of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, this problem can be solved from the individual level where we can consider to practice travel without greenhouse gases. This means to a better practice such as using electric vehicle that emitted zero greenhouse gases and not using fuel. People also can start to practice carpool when traveling where lesser volume of gases could be emitted. Besides, society can also practice to familiarize themselves with public transit whenever possible to lower the number of cars on the road. For the burning fossil fuel, the generating process of electricity we use in our daily life also produce to the emission of the greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide. As an individual in the society, we can help to minimize the emission of the gas from the electricity production by buying and using the energy efficient product such as refrigerator, television and washing machine. Other than that, we can also reduce the water waste in the daily life also helps in the minimizing the emission of the greenhouse gases as the electricity energy is used to pump the water supply to the residential and buildings. So more electrical energy can be saved which then reduce the amount of greenhouse gases emission for the electricity generation process. We also can practice a principle of pull the plugs, which is even while they are not charging, such as audio and video gadget, cordless vacuum, and power tools, or other electronics that consume energy. So we can remove rarely used gadget or plugs them into power strip and timer when not in use. And we also can set our computer and monitors to automatically power down to the lowest power mode when not in use. This practice can help to reduce water waste, thus lessen the emission of greenhouse gases.
CO2 emissions are determined both by how many people on Earth and by how much energy using capital. Automobiles, airplanes, factories they collectively use. Human population grows the exponential feedback. The larger the population, the more birth. The larger the population. Similarly, the more energy using capital, the more profit. Some of these profits are invested in more energy using capital, creating a second reinforcing feedback loop. For the last few centuries, both human population and the amount of energy used have been growing driven by this reinforcing feedback loop.
For this part, we will see the effect of the increase of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The most concerned long-term effect is the global warming in the atmosphere that will happen after a long time because of the greenhouse effect, which the gas trap the heat from reflecting back to the space. Global warming will eventually cause the rise in global temperature as what we have seen over the last decade. The rise of global temperature will cause the tree to become more stressed and not taking the CO2 anymore. This will make the emission of CO2 also come from the natural forest. So it will keep increasing the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Heat wave also will be the result of the rise in the global temperature and can cause the wildfire in the forest, which will emit more CO2 and greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Apart from that, the rise in global temperature also will cause the melting of iceberg in the Arctic and Antarctic, which eventually cause the rise in sea level. We can see that the mean seawater level in 2020 was reported to be 91.3 millimeter higher than it was in 1993. The rise in sea level will cause the flood to occur that will give the negative impact such as death and damaged crop. The damaged crop that happen will urge the agriculture industry to use more fertilizers which based on nitrogen to make their farm or plants grow better and quicker. This will lead to increase of the greenhouse gases such as methane and nitrous oxide in the atmosphere and continue the loop to happen over again. So, as a solution to help in balancing the effect of agriculture, they can use the high quality fertilizer that will reduce the methane released from enteric fermentation. And as some of the agriculture activities will cause the need of land clearing, the government or NGOs can initiate a campaign to plant more trees in order to cover the effect of the land clearing and help to reduce the CO2 and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This loop will continue to occur over the time if no step taken to solve the problem that caused the increasing of the greenhouse gases.